Hi, in this session, we are going to talk about the HTML form. What are HTML forms? An HTML form is an area of the document that allows the user to enter information into the fields. A form may be used to collect the personal information, opinions in polls, user preferences, and other kind of information. There are two basic components of a web form: the shell, the part that the user fills out, and the script which processes the information. HTML tags are used to create the form shell. Using HTML, you can create text boxes, radio buttons, check boxes, drop-down menus, and more. So this is how the example a form looks like. So this is a text box, then a drop-down menu, a radio buttons, a check box, a text area where you can type the comments. And then there are the buttons like buy now button and the reset button. The form shell. A form shell has three important parts: the form tag, which includes the address of the script which will process the form, the form elements like text box and the radio buttons, the submit button, which triggers the script to send the entered information to the server. Creating the shell. To create a form shell, type form method post action, the script URL, where script URL is an address of the script. Then we have to create the form element. Now we have to end it using the ending form tag, that is closing form tag. Now creating the text boxes. So in the form, we are going to create some text boxes. So here we will talk about how to create it. To create a text box, type input type text. The name will be name. Value will be holding value. The size will be n. Max length will be n. The name, value, size, and the max length attributes are optional. So these are the optional attributes. Text box attribute. The name attribute is used to identify the text box to the processing script. The value attribute is used to specify the text that will initially appear in the text box. The size attribute is used to define the size of the box in the characters. The max length attribute is used to define the maximum number of the characters that can be typed in the box. So this is the example of the text box. First name, input type, text, name, first name, value, first name, size 20. So here it is how it will look like. BR tag is used for breaking the line. So last name, input type, text, name, last name, value, last name, size 20. Then BR. So this is the example of how the text box will look like. Okay. Now after text box, we'll talk about the radio buttons. Creating the radio buttons. To create a radio button, type input type radio, name, value, data, label, where the data is the text that will be sent to the server if the button is checked, and the label is the text that identifies the button to use. So this is the example of the radio button. So B, size, then B is used for bolding it, input type, radio name, value, large, input type, radio name, size, value, medium, input type, radio name, size, value, small. So here we have taken the radio buttons with the options as car, van, tuk-tuk. Which taxi do you require? So this is the question with this radio buttons. Okay. So this is how the form looks like. So form has the input box, the radio buttons. Now creating the large text areas. To create the large text areas, type text area, name, rows N1, columns N2. Wrap the default text. So we want to wrap the text. So for that we use wrap default text as text area, where N1 is the height of the text box in the row and N2 is the width of the text box in the character. So height and width we have to specify using N1 and N2. The wrap attribute causes the cursor to move automatically to the next line as the user types. Example, text area. So comment, BR, text name, comment, rows. In 10 rows we are taking with the columns 50 and we are using a wrap text and the text area is closed using this closing tag. Now creating the checkboxes. To create a checkbox, type input type checkbox name, value, label. If you give a group of radio buttons or the checkbox the same name, the user will only be able to select one button or a box at a time. So example of a checkbox is color, input type, name, color, input type, name, color, navy, and black. So we're going to give here option as 3 colors, that is red, navy, and black. So user can select one color from that. Now we want to create a drop-down list. So creating a drop-down menu. To create a drop-down menu, type select name, size, multiple, the type, option value, value. So in this case, the size attribute specifies the height of menu in the line and the multiple allows users to select more than one menu at a time. Example of a drop-down list. So which is your favorite food? So in this, when you click on the drop-down list, you will get the option as mango, option value papaya, option value guava, option value banana, option value pineapple. And then we are closing the select option for selecting from the drop-down menu. Creating a submit button. To create a submit button, type input type submit. If you would like to button, say something other than submit, use the value attribute. So input type is equals to submit. So on that, I want to write buy now. So we'll use this. For example, input type submit value buy now would create a button that says buy now. Create a reset button. To create a reset button, type input type is equals to reset. The value attribute can be used in the same way to change the text which appears on the button. So table can be used to display the rows and columns of the data, create multi-column text captions for the image and the sidebars. The table tag is used to create a table. The TR tag defines the beginning of the row, while the TD tag defines the beginning of the cell. So thank you so much.